I've been using the Canon EOS R8 camera for about 1.5 years now, and if this is on your short list of cameras you've been considering, there are a few things you'll want to know before pulling the trigger. Hey friend, I'm Sean with Guided Productions. Today I'm going to give you an honest review of the Canon EOS R8, and no, Canon is not sponsoring this video. Nobody's paying me for these opinions. It's just solely based on my real life experience from using this bad boy over the last 1.5 years. So I'm going to give you some pros and cons. I'll give you some workarounds. If you stick with me to the end, I'm going to give you an overall rating of the camera and let you know if I'd buy it again if I was starting from scratch today. And I do want to give you a free gift as well if you hang with me to the end of the video that I think will be really helpful in your video journey, especially as we talk about video gear here today. So let's go ahead and get started. I like to get the bad stuff out of the way first. So I'm going to talk about where I think this camera is lacking a bit. And we have to address the elephant in the room, and that is, of course, the battery life. The battery life in the Canon R8 is pretty dismal. I would say anywhere around the 20 to 25 minute mark. Sometimes I can get 30 minutes of shoot time before I get that little warning light that my battery is dying. And I find that there's not a whole lot of time between getting the warning light to when the battery actually dies. Now, why is it the battery life is so bad in this thing? Well, look at this form factor. This camera is tiny. And so there's not a whole lot of space to put anything big in here like what you would see in the bigger brother like the R5 or the R6. If I pop this out, it's just a Canon LPE17 lithium battery, cute little brick here that just slides right in the camera. But you can even see when I open this up, there's not a whole lot of room for extra batteries going on in here. Now, one workaround that I did find that provides a little more permanence or longevity to your battery life, gives you a little bit more security on shoot dates. If you're willing to spend a bit more money, you can get yourself a V-mount battery like this VB99 SE from Small Rig that I picked up. This takes away all my battery woes because I have an LCD display right on the back. I can see exactly how much life I have in my battery. And you can even keep the Canon battery still in your camera as an added backup for some additional comfort in there as well. I like the V-mount option because I can power a 4K monitor. I can power quite a few other things with it as well. So if you're willing to spend a little bit extra, maybe not up front, but grow into it over time, I think a V-mount battery is one way to solve that problem. Now, talking about not having a whole lot of something, my next con has got to be the SD card. There are no redundant slots in this thing. Again, it's tiny, so there's not a lot of room to be putting a whole lot of stuff in here. You get one SD card slot right here, and that's all you have to work with. There's no way to add a CF Express card or multiple SD cards as a backup if one fails or fills up. You are kind of limited just to the one piece of plastic. Doesn't give you a whole lot of confidence. Now, I did do a little bit of research, and it turns out if you're using a 4K recording monitor like an Atomos Ninja that records directly to an external hard drive or SSD, you can do that as well and kind of bypass that SD problem right here inside the camera. But now we're talking adding another $700 to $1,000 to the bag, and we're just talking about the camera here today. So keep that in mind. You get one SD slot in this camera. There's no redundancy built in. The next con that I see with this camera is overheating. Now, I will just come out and say I've never actually had the camera overheat to the point where it's shut down on me mid-shoot, but usually after about 20 to 30 minutes of continuous shoot time, I do get a little warning light that says, hey, we're starting to heat up. You might want to keep an eye on things. I found as long as I can shut the camera off for a couple of minutes and turn it back on, we are good to go. But for those who are going to be filming for hours on end, this may not be the camera for you, or you may need to find some other way to cool that camera down quickly. And the last thing I'm going to say on the list of cons for this camera is that there is no IBIS or in-body image stabilization like what you would see in the R5, the R7, the R6. Again, we're very limited by the form factor of this camera, so there's not a whole lot of technology going on inside that you would see in other cameras. A lot of Canon's lenses do have some stabilization built in, but you're just not marrying that or pairing that with the camera itself like what you're seeing in some of those other cameras. My workaround for this is to throw this bad boy on a gimbal. Because it's so small, it sits nicely on a gimbal, and you can walk around with that thing and get the buttery smooth B-roll that you're looking for. You probably can't see it on my camera. I think it's bokeh out, but I have a DJI RS3 Mini sitting on my desk, and I slap this bad boy on there and just run and gun. So that's a great way to get around that. Again, we're talking about an additional purchase, so take that for what it is. Okay, so now that we got all the bad stuff out of the way, let's talk about the things that I really like about the R8 camera. First of all, the size. We've talked a lot about its size. Friend, I love how small this thing is. It feels great in the hand. It's great for traveling. And if you're doing anything handheld for extended periods of time, it's so light, you forget that you're holding a camera half the time. What's beneficial about that is as you start to build out, say you want to put a cage on this thing or build out some accessories and a rig, you're not starting with this hefty brick. You have a pretty nice, solid, but small and light camera body to be working with. So I actually really like the size of it, even though you are sacrificing quite a few things internally. Now, the next thing I really like about this camera is the fact that it has a full frame sensor. When I was shopping for this camera, I was between the R8 and the R7. The R7 has better battery life. It's a little wider, so you can get a bigger battery in there. It even has redundant memory card slots. But I opted for the R8 because unlike the R7, it is a full frame sensor, so I don't have to worry about any weird cropping issues when I'm shooting. I can already start at that big size, and I love how well this does in low light settings. So full frame sensor, love that. Another thing I gotta call out is the RF mount here as far as lenses go. No adapters needed. You know, there was once a time where you were limited by Canon to only get their high-end, expensive glass, and they've come a long way. You've got the RF STM lenses that have come out in the last couple of years that have really been taking this camera to the next level. In a sense, it kind of feels like they were built specifically for the R8 model. And so that's something that I'm really excited about. I've got a couple of them on my desk behind me. Having that RF lens mount is going to be super beneficial as I start collecting out and building out my lens collection. I can grow with my camera. If I end up getting an R6 or another Canon camera down the line, they're just going to swap really nicely and I don't have to worry about any sort of adapter issues there. And the last thing I'm going to say in terms of a pro for the R8 has got to be its price point. Friend, for under $2,000, you can get this camera body along with a variable 24 to 50 millimeter lens in a kit. It comes with a shotgun mic that attaches directly to your camera. You even get a tripod, among other things, for a really good price point. So if you're looking at building this out for the very first time and you're trying to figure out all the things that you need to piece together, I would highly recommend checking out the R8's kit. The whole box comes with everything that you need. If all you need is a camera body, you've been shooting for a while and you already have some lenses and all those accessories added up, friend, you can get this camera body for like $1,300. It's a pretty good deal. Love the price point. This is a great way to get started. And if you want a second shooter or just a camera that's gonna live on a gimbal, the R8 is your go-to. So I'm gonna put my pros and cons back up here on the screen so you can take a look at those as I give my final rating here. Overall, based on battery life, the lack of redundancy in the memory card slots, but the form factor, versatility of this camera, the full frame sensor, all the things that we've discussed here today, I'm giving this camera a 7.8 out of 10 stars. I think it's an absolute workhorse for the size that it is. I'm really impressed with the price point as well. I love this camera. So you ask me the question, would you ever buy it again? If I was starting over from scratch today and I needed to buy a new camera, would I buy the R8 again? 100 times over, I would say yes. This is a fantastic camera for getting started. It's a fantastic camera for those who have been in the game a long time. Great, great camera, and I cannot recommend it enough. Now, friend, if you are struggling to figure out more of the gear that you need for your video journey, go to guidedproductions.com. I want to give you a free gift for spending this time here with me today. guidedproductions.com/studio gear guide. I wrote out a film studio gear guide that addresses all the gear needed for a film studio, and I provide recommendations for any budget. So you can come in with $0, $200, $850, $4,000, whatever your budget is, I'm gonna show you exactly what you need to get up and running, and that is my free gift to you. So go ahead and get your free PDF download at guidedproductions.com/studio gear guide. Now, friend, if you are serious about getting involved with video production this year, subscribe to this channel. I'll serve as your guide. I'm gonna walk you through every step of your video journey and hopefully take some of the guesswork out. And I wanna be here every step of the way. So be sure to leave a comment if you have any questions about the R8 itself. Friend, go make something amazing. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you on another video real soon.